that fades black. Now, when you are talking about the civil rights movement, you cannot separate the whites that were part of that movement. And I know from experience, from the experiences of history, I was at Martin Luther King's funeral, I went to Mr. Everett's funeral, and I saw whites that had given. And then when we think of Selma, we not only think of the blacks that died there, we think of the whites. So I'm saying basically that we went the best way. Violence has never worked. And I don't think it ever will work.
Was it John F. Kennedy that gave whites permission to be supportive of the civil rights movement?
John F. Kennedy couldn't have given white, no. Well, there were religions. Very wonderful, good people of goodwill have been here in this country forever. It took, as Clara mentioned, Hubert Humphrey and those, and we could just name names, and there are good church people from Oklahoma City who traveled to all these places. And there were whites who were killed by the Ku Klux Klan and the racists in Mississippi and other places. Heroes and heroines who sacrificed. A lot of this, of course, had begun in the late 50s. Even when some of us were in school, we were protesting. John F. Kennedy was a symbol to a lot of young whites to awaken them, those who were comfortable in the northern areas and were not aware. And then with the George Wallace's and all of those, the dogs and the water hoses, all of that portrayed on TV, mobilized the nation where they could not turn their back and say that it didn't exist. I think they brought out, and to the friends and all, people were not able to ignore it. That the fact that these problems existed to a large percentage of our people.
We're going to get updated from the KTOK News Center, take a break for headlines, and continue with Hannah Atkins, Secretary of State of Oklahoma, and Clara Luper, history teacher at John Marshall High School. 840-1000 is the talk line number. We invite your calls on KTOK News Talk 1000.
Good morning, I'm Matt Skinner in the KTOK News Center. Some of the stories we'll follow further up this hour. Power back on now in the Oklahoma City area. After about 11,000 ATV customers were blocked out early this morning. Just about everything but gasoline cost more last month. Overall consumer prices rose 0.4%. The Reagan administration is reportedly will predict today that the economy will grow by 3.5% next year. Private economists think that estimate is way too optimistic. Palestine Liberation Organization Chairman Yasser Arafat says the U.S. has granted them an entry visa so he can address the United Nations in New York. He hasn't been in this country since his first and only visit way back in 1974. The nation mourns the president today. Today is the 25th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Weatherman covers the fair skies through Thanksgiving Day, high today 55, low overnight 35, tomorrow 65, Thanksgiving Day high near 70, sunny and 39 right now. You're listening to News Radio 1000, KTOK.
1032, and it's very important that we stress when we talk with Armin Stevens with Miracle Ear, that it's not just folks who are getting on in years who might be losing their hearing. Folks who are involved in billboard radio, Armin, right?
That's right.
Or work around machinery that has noise all the time. So it's a good idea, even when you're 35, like most, to have your hearing tested, right?
That's right, yeah. They need to be done on a regular basis, really, because if you start losing some of your hearing, you don't realize it at first, but then all of a sudden, the quality of life and the sound is just gone, you never can understand it.
And testing has developed so much, especially in Miracle Ear, right?
Oh, yes, the testing is so much better than what it used to be years ago, and we can actually determine what a person's hearing loss is, and find out if they do have a hearing loss or if they don't, without a problem at all.
And we can do that by calling what number?
Call 946-7595. We'll set an appointment for you to test you with one of our fully licensed hearing aid audiologists, and we'll be able to test and find out what kind of problem you have.
And you're located where?
4922 North May Avenue.
Okay, Armin Stevens with Miracle Ear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. This is Bob David. Today, beginning at 1 on KTOK, we will commemorate the 25th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination in Dallas. We'll talk with the author of Contract and America. the mafia was behind the death of John F. Kennedy. Professor Jerry Holt of Oklahoma will sit back with us and reflect on the Kennedy years. And we'll talk with a writer-producer of a 2-hour documentary who will list major inconsistencies in Dallas the day John F. Kennedy was assassinated. Join me today beginning at 1 on KTOK. We have a long way to go in the space race. We started late, but this is the new ocean, and I believe the United States must sail on it and be in a position second to none.
10:34, John F. Kennedy on space, and obviously he did a great deal of work in getting the nation. He promised that we would go to the moon, and also did a lot for civil rights, and that is why Hannah Atkins and Clara Luper are here with us in studio. And Clara wanted to respond to my mention of Malcolm X and the former caller's mention.
Yes, I knew Malcolm X. Malcolm pictured it when he was 15 in Los Angeles, California, without any followers. And I want to make that clear to the new generation. I would also like to point out that if you remember history, Malcolm X at one time cried out for separation. But during the last years of his life, he cried out for integration. And it was not white America that killed Malcolm X. It was black America. Now, when I thought about we aren't making any progress, here I am sitting up here with the Secretary of State, and you telling me I'm not making progress? I wonder if I have forgotten that there was a Jesse Jackson that formed a rainbow coalition and came within a step of the White House. Did you know how the Cosby Show is rated? With blacks and whites working together, one working on the script, the other one handling the machinery. Yes, we have made progress, but this new generation is not only going to have to understand that freedom is a long struggle. John F. Kennedy made it plain on that cold day in January when he said the things that I'm talking about will not be finished in during this administration. But the key word, let us begin. So that must be a key word today as we face this 25th anniversary. If we don't like segregation, if we don't like discrimination, come on, let us begin. And the new generation can begin by supporting the NAACP and the Urban League and other organizations that have brought them this far. And I cannot believe that anybody that's acquainted with history would not be aware of where we have come from. Now, I've come a long ways. Just look at me. Here I am on KTOK, talking to all over the country. You've got to remember that my grandparents could already read and write. You've got to remember that I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma. I never had a chance, but here, once again, we must recognize that freedom is a struggle, not for one group of people, because if my black brothers and my white brothers can work together, we are failing terribly and dreaming of a world where we could be together.
Before I went back to the top line numbers, we've got to get to the phones, ladies, or I'm going to get in trouble. Bill, good morning. You're on KTOK.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
I was wondering, civil rights movement for James Kennedy fought for, kind of go back to what Franklin Roosevelt fought for when he got integration in federal job hiring back in the 40s. Does it seem to you, I mean, it seems to me that anyone who's worked in civil rights finds that underneath all forms of discrimination, most all of them, whether it's racial or sex discrimination or whatever, that the underlying problem there isn't that someone doesn't
that's a great question because we've got the history teacher here, Clara Luper. There are actually 2 points that he raised. Discrimination not being a question of morals, or as it were, or physical differences, but economic differences. And also, are we teaching, that's the big question why Clara is here, are we teaching history, Kennedy's history, more specifically, also civil rights history, in an accurate perspective?
It all depends upon what section of the country you're from. Now, in our history books, during the past 25 years, they have changed completely, because we do cover all sides of American history. We give people of different racial groups and different political views the opportunity not only to write to us, not only using the trade events of various newspapers, but to come into our schools and put forth their view. Now, I do not agree with the dealer who stated about Franklin D. Roosevelt. I know he made some steps, but it was not until the civil rights bills of 1964 and 65 were passed that we were able to go into a period where we couldn't discriminate against blacks and women or other handicapped, what have you. So President Roosevelt had some ideas, but those ideas were not put into action. And it was only when, I think it was 1962, when we put some teeth in the various governmental contracts where you could not discriminate based upon race. I do feel that we aren't doing enough. And this is so in any area. And that's why we continue to progress, because we look at our mistakes in our history books, and then we try to correct them. And that's where the public comes in. I think that if the public would contact the schools and say, I have some new information, we will be happy, because we want to give our young people that information and let them decide for themselves who is right. For example, if you talk to 20 people about what happened on November the 22nd, everybody will look at it from a different standpoint. So the more people we talk to, the better vision that we will get of history, and then we can make our own decision.
And that's what we're trying to do here today on KTOK. Our guests, Clara Luper, Hannah Atkins, and welcome back on KTOK News Talk 1000.
No, where's the ornament box?
Over there behind the truck.
Nice.
Open the box. Look how neat. That's right. And there's holiday magic in the air. Winter's just started with opportunities and special happenings. Live your experience. Joy and Champion Wonderland. A bright new gift-giving season. Grab list at their Holiday Fit selection of merchandise. Brilliant for New Texas. 24 quality merchants. On this Saturday, November 26th, through to December. And Wi-Fi helicopter at 12 noon. Get free horse-drawn sleigh rides each Saturday and Sunday afternoon through December 18th. And free photos of fun each Saturday afternoon through December 10th. Darling, it's magic. I'll say, Winter holiday season, a magic one at Winter Health Center, where there's convenient parking that makes it easy on your feet. You're at home at Winter Health Center, Northwest 23rd and Meridian. That's why we're Dazzle Holly, Winter Health Center.
If you decide how your company's advertising dollars are spent, listen to Bobby K at Bobby K's Raging Cajun Restaurant in Elkhart, Indiana. I wouldn't be doing any of the business that I'm doing now if I wasn't advertising on the radio. I have seen results like you wouldn't believe. I had a customer, I can't remember exactly where they're from, but he said he drove 70 miles. One afternoon, he heard my commercial on the air. At 5:30, he pulled off on the side of the road, called up and said, I heard your commercial. Boy, it sounds great. And he said, how do I get there? And I said, well, when will you be coming? He says, now. You know, it really shocked me. Number one, I didn't know that the response would be so great to have somebody drive down that far. And he's been coming back ever since, every other Friday. I do my own commercials and I have a blast. You know I'm not handing you a bunch of crawfish stuff. When I say radio works, it really works, and you can take that to the bank. When you want results, there's more business. Call this station or the Radio Advertising Bureau, because
Hannah Atkins, our guest. Clara Luper, our guest, also in studio this hour on this 25th anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And Clara has alluded a couple of times to something, and I want to congratulate Secretary Secretary of State Hannah Atkins, who has been named honorary chairperson of the, it says chairman here, I'm saying chairperson of the 12th Annual Conference of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators. 25 years ago, there could not have been a National Black Caucus of State Legislators. Could there have been? No, there weren't enough of us at that time. And that in itself is great progress. We have grown in large numbers. We're still a small percentage of all elected officials. As far as mayors and county commissioners, we're beginning to make an impact, but it has been just 25 years that it's taken us to get there. Mostly through the voting rights act. And you can see the impact going from 50 mayors to over 400 mayors, and the same thing on each level. It has been a slow progress, but a dramatic progress. 841,000, the top line number. Back to the phone, Travis. Good morning. You're on KCSA.
I want to say congratulations. These two fine ladies. We just need more of them. They're getting, I think, that they'll be on there today at this time with special representing today in the ground. I know both of them, and I just think we need more of this kind of thing because we need to reach that day when they don't need to be on there, so to speak. And it is just a real gem, and I do know both the fine ladies. I want to congratulate them on a great job they're doing.
Thank you very much, Travis. Appreciate the call. 841,000. Jerry, good morning. You're on KCSA.
Yes, ma'am. I have a comment to make concerning today. I am a manufacturer, and I have for 25 odd years now. I've been involved in 24-hour-a-day manufacturing, so consequently I work with all kinds of people. And it's been my experience that regardless of color, whatever you want to call it, if the person is qualified, there are no barriers as far as race or anything like that. Unqualified people that do not want to work and will not learn are the ones that you hear on to talk about, he can't learn, he this, he this. A qualified person who has construction, works, and earns what they are paid, earns the respect of the people that they work with, and there is no such thing as discrimination. Okay?
Jerry, thank you. Are you right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jerry, thank you very much for your call. Is there a surprise from either of you about that call that in Oklahoma, no, a white man would say that? No, I'm very pleased that he would take the time to call, but I think that has been the experience of most manufacturers and business persons. Once they give any minority or woman a chance, they are usually pleased. Some of them are surprised, but I think those who've been in business, as this gentleman has for 25 years, will see that you're dealing with people, and you're going to have some good people and hardworking. Usually a minority who gets into a position will work twice as hard because all eyes are on them. So usually you get good work for that investment, and I hope that others will follow his suit. 841,000, the top line number. Fern, good morning. You're on KCSA.
Well, I really want to talk about that people that have been connected, that have been vaccinated, special sports and all like that. And I've done, but they don't, it's very unlike this, it's good various things. I've done a lot of things that some people like, and they didn't do any, but there was any notice in the paper anyway, but that's okay. But I think we all work together, we're going to make this country great, and especially this state people. But what I'd like to say something about this, some of these little factors, and I live in Texas when this all happened, and there were very few people because there was a billionaire fireman down there that Clara and some others with this billionaire company that had, and they were got money where they wrote the book and stuff. He said I would give you $5,000 a piece, and I will give you a ticket to go over there, but you're going to they'll take away your citizenship here, so you can't come back.
Well, Fern, thank you for your call. There are various theories concerning the assassination, and Bob Dugan this afternoon will be getting into that subject during his program. The previous call also, well, Clara alluded to the fact that on civil rights, she said that I couldn't be sitting in this chair 25 years ago, and she's absolutely right, because, and it's not because I was 10 years older, but because a woman just wasn't heard on the airwaves. So, did Kennedy do anything about women's rights? When we see, or when we talk about rights, civil rights, are we talking about not just black and white as we hear so often?
I think the feminist movement did profit from the civil rights movement per se. They learned a lot from those of us who were in the struggle, and they began to employ the same tactics that we did in the protests and the boycotts and the marches and everything. So I think it grew out of the civil rights movement. Women then began to say, look, we're still putting behind the door, and then we need some attention on, and of course black women were doubly impacted by being women and black. And now that I'm a senior citizen, I began to triple jeopardy. So all of those things have merged, but I think the real leadership came from the black movement. We've had Indians and Native Americans to join it in some parts of the country to some degree. Hispanics have been sort of in and out of the movement depending on what would give them immediate gratification with positions in government and business. But the mainstay has been the black community throughout the years. And I'd like to add my plea to Clara that our young people learn their history, learn our heritage. We have a great deal to be proud of. Many people have sacrificed 30 years to bring us to this point. We have seen a lot of what we call the front, the black, upwardly mobile young people turn their backs on our community. Not only do they move away physically, but they never come over to the east side where most of us are. They don't involve themselves in helping our young children who need help. The role models, they have separated themselves and become so materialistic that it is difficult to get them to serve on any board or commission or anything which requires that they give some of their time. Public service is the most important thing that any person could do. We grew up in my large family learning that we owed something back to this world for occupying the space. And my father, just for all six of us, said, you must be aligned with something bigger than yourself, something more important than yourself. And it was unheard of for us to put ourselves first. And somewhere along the line that message has been lost. The closeness of families and all of that, which has so much meaning here at Thanksgiving time. And of course the Kennedy family is still a great model of how one family member helps another family member. And I think we have to get back to some of those values.
Well, I want to ask you, in the minutes that we have left, what are the chances, well, just your view, if Kennedy had not been in office, let's say George Wallace had been elected president, would you be where you are today as black Americans?
Of course not. We would not have, because at that time George Wallace was a segregationist. He was a segregationist because blacks did not have the right to vote in Alabama because of those tests that were given at that time. I knew I went down in front of the test. One of the questions was, how many words are in the United States Constitution, how many butters in the bar of soap? So I don't agree with that. So I'm not sure if I flunked the test, and Sidney Long flunked it, and some others. But let me say a closing word. People have to realize they can't separate black freedom from white freedom. They've got to recognize that only a few people in history have ever spoken for freedom.
Clara Luper, thank you very much. Hannah Atkins, thank you very much.
We're happy to be here.
What a great perspective on the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Obviously, it sounds very mournful and depressing that we'll spend the day talking about it. However, these ladies have brought out the good parts and the things to celebrate and to remember. Coming up next hour, I want to know where you were when you heard that Kennedy was shot 25 years ago. It's 10:53. We'll get an update on Wall Street. ABC News at the top of the hour, and KTSA News coming up on KTSA News Talk 10,000.